What's up, guys? So today we're starting with the Jeep Liberty, going through fuel systems and ignition systems and whatnot. Here we have our engine control module. This computes everything all of your sensors has been telling you to make sure our beautiful 3.7 liter V6 engine runs smoothly. So first we're gonna start off with the coil unplug spark plugs. Right here you see these little wires. This ECU sends signals to this so it knows when to shoot at the right time.
So we're going to be going over some basic fuel things. So this is your fuel inlet from the tank and the pump. This is your fuel rail right here, and basically what this does is this allows the fuel to be distributed amongst the injectors, which are right here, and you can kind of tell there's the two wires going to it, and then it comes off the fuel rail into the intake manifold, which makes this car a port fuel injected vehicle. If it were throttle injected, or throttle body, sorry, it would be up here at the throttle. And if it was direct injected, then these would be going straight through the cylinder head, right into the combustion chamber.
Let's move to the throttle body. Right here, we have the throttle plate underneath this beautiful 3.7 liter V6 advertisement right in the middle of everything. Here, we can tell that our car is driven by cable because this cable right here is connected directly to the pedal in the passenger compartment. Right here is the throttle position sensor. This lets the ECU know how open the throttle is, and that, along with many other factors from the sensors and all of that, lets the engine know how much air and fuel it should be sending into its chambers. Let's move over here. Right here we have our idle motor, which keeps it open at idle.
So vehicles have quite a few sensors, and this one is no exception. Right off the bat, I believe this right here is the manifold absolute pressure sensor, or the MAP sensor, and this basically measures the vacuum or absence of pressure in the manifold, and this basically tells the engine how much vacuum it is actually making, which is a good indicator of like the idle speed and a bunch of other things. This down here is your temperature sensor, and this is connected pretty much right next to the water pump. I believe if we were to take this apart, the thermostat would probably be quite close as well, and this just lets the engine know how hot the coolant is getting and whether or not it can like richen or lean the mixture based off of that. So if it's cold, it'll probably be a little bit richer. When it gets warm, it leans it out.
Also note that because there is only one line coming from the fuel tank to the fuel rail, that means that the fuel pressure is regulated at the pump and not on the fuel rail.
Now let's move to this beautiful specimen. Now on many older cars, you'll find that they often utilize distributors. Electronic ignition didn't really come along in wide usage until the late 70s. And this is a distributor with a coil and spark plugs. Now basically, inside this distributor cap, there's a rotor that will spin around, and as it spins around, it will make contact with each of the metal contacts at these plug wires. Now not this exactly, but it'll go through the cap, and as it spins, it carries the high voltage from the coil right here, down through this wire, through the rotor, up through this wire, and then to each one's respective plug if I could pull them out, but I can't right now. All right, finally, I'll just show one more fuel system because this one's a bit easier to follow. On old carbureted cars, there's really not much to them. You have your fuel filter right here in line with the carburetor. It goes into the carburetor right there. If you follow the line down, along here, it's a little bit hard to see, but down here is the fuel pump, and this metal line is going into the car, and this one is coming from the this one's going into the carburetor, this one's coming from the gas tank. See if you can see that a little better. And the way these mechanical fuel pumps work basically is there's a small lobe on the pump itself that rides on the crankshaft or the camshaft. I can't remember which one right now for some reason. I believe it is the camshaft though. It rides on the camshaft, and basically as it moves up and down, there's a little diaphragm in there, and that makes the pumping motion. And then in terms of gas tank stuff, there's not really much to these either. Really all that's in this gas tank is a little pickup tube that lets it suck up from the fuel pump at the front, and then there's the fuel float in there, which lets you know your gas level on the gauge on the dash. Ka-ching!